Morning. We're live.
Are we live?
7:17 in the morning.
Wait, I'm not here yet.
Let's,
Very exciting Daf.
before we go weiter, let's just go before the Ilm comes. I just want to go back to those three lines. I really forgot to say it, and I don't want to have any holes here in the Masechta. So if you don't want to open up, it's fine. I'll just say about pen. Omer Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak l'divrei Rabbi Yehuda ben Nechemya. Fine. It's just we're just going back for a second. The Gemara asks a question. Why is it? The Mishnah says. Let's start from the Mishnah. We'll go back for a second. The Mishnah says that if you bring Menachos and Bikurim before the Omer, it's completely possible. And if you bring Menachos and Bikurim before Shtei Alechem, it's kosher. So the Gemara says, what's the difference between the Omer and the Shtei Alechem? If you bring the Menachos before Omer, it's completely possible. Yet if you bring it before the Shtei Alechem, which you shouldn't, and you brought it, it's still kosher. So Rabbi Yehuda bar Nechemya says, and remember who Rabbi Yehuda bar Nechemya is? The one that Rabbi Kiva killed, basically. He cursed him and he died later. Why? Because he said this teretz. What was his teretz? His teretz is that the Omer is much stronger than the Shtei Alechem. The Omer creates a heter for Klal Yisrael to eat. And therefore, it creates somewhat of a heter for the Mizbeach to eat. But Shtei Alechem doesn't create that heter. Says the Gemara, Omer Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak, based on that, l'divrei Yehuda ben Nechemya, not Rabbi Yehuda ben Nechemya. Yehuda ben Nechemya, Nisachim, Bikurim, Shekrivim, Kodim Lo'imer Ksherim. So if you bring wine, new wine, brand new wine, that's Bikurim, the first crop. Now, wine doesn't require an Omer. Everybody could drink wine from the first crop without Omer. So you brought this wine and you brought it on the Mizbeach. Before the Omer, it's kosher. Not like Menachos, that's possible. Wine is different. Says the Gemara Pshita, it's wine. Everybody can drink wine before the Omer. What's the Hava Amina? Says the Gemara about the same. I would have an interesting Hava Amina that something that, like wheat, that becomes mutter to Klal Yisrael, and then you bring it, so it's different than wine that never was mutter b'chlal. Says the Gemara Adarabah, that exactly is the reason. Wine doesn't need a heter. So Mamela, obviously, if you bring wine before the Omer, it's kosher. And now we're going back to today's Daf, Yishur Koyach, Daf Samachtes Amid Beis, the last line, Boy Rabba, or Rava. Rava. Okay. So yesterday we learned if you take a young sapling and you graft it into a tree, an older tree. So the young sapling is arla, and it has tiny little fruit on it, and you graft it into a tree, and it grows even 200 times the size. It's not batal, it's still considered arla. Boy Rava, le'inyan meiser mai. This halacha that we go basar the ikar, meaning we go at the root, not the main tree. It's not main. Ikar over here means the young tree, the baby. We go at the base, the beginning. Le'inyan meiser mai. What's the halacha when it comes to meiser? So the Gemara is going to explain. Eichi dami. Daf ayin omad aleph. Kigoyin the amdinu v'asrinu. So first we assessed how much wheat we have here. Why? Because you can't count it. It's still inside the shaft. It's still, you can't tell what you have. So you have to do like a umdana. Vasrinu, and you took meiser. And after you took meiser v'shatlinu, and you went back and you replanted it. So Rava has a shaila here. What happens if you replant wheat, and after you replanted it, v'yisifilu, and it grew to even more? So what's the shaila? Now if you go based on the beginning root of the tvua, so the meiser was already taken. Meiser was already taken. You put it back in the ground. It doesn't matter. I took Meiser from this product, from this produce. It's already mu'usar. The shaila is, what if I don't go based on the beginning and I just look at what I have now? Now I had another planting and there's a new growth, and I need to take Meiser. And now whatever the gain in this produce, I have to take Meiser. Iker mai. Do I need to retake Meiser and what I planted in the ground?
We're talking about where he planted a whole sheaf,
Yeah.
individual kernels.
Right.
Because that would have been my set the year before.
That's exactly what the Gemara is going to discuss. Literally, exactly what you just said is word for word what the Gemara is going to say. Now, when I plant wheat, the kernels I can't put seeds in the ground before I take Meiser from those seeds. So I took Meiser from those seeds. Then I put them in the ground.
Meiser is just for eating? If I knew ahead of time I'm going to plant them, I have to
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like planting a new plant. If you're taking the seeds, so it should be high from a new halach of Meiser.
Yeah.
That's a question.
So listen what happened. He took seeds. He took a Meiser from the seeds. He planted these seeds. The following year, Tful comes out of these seeds, and I have to take a Meiser from everything, including the seeds that I put in the ground. I hear your question. The Gemara is going to address it. He didn't really ask. He just, what? Again, I took seeds in Tavshan Ayin Ches, I put them in the ground, and then Tavshan Ayin Tes, I have a whole new crop. A regular farmer. He has a new crop, he has to take a Meiser. What does he take a Meiser? From everything that comes out of the ground, including the seeds. I yank it out, I have to take a Meiser from the seeds. So the Gemara says,
Put a kilo of seed into the ground.
Right.
I'm getting 50 kilos crop now.
Right.
I only have to do Meiser on 49 because 1 kilo.
exactly,
of
1 kilo I took Meiser, last year. Says the Gemara, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. Why?
There's another explanation maybe that makes it a little bit easier to understand. Not that you have to take Meiser also from what you planted, is that you don't take off the amount that you planted. Meaning if you planted 1
Yeah, that's
kilo,
what he was saying.
And if you 10, you don't take Meiser only off 9.
Right. But the question is really, I'm not really using what I planted. What I planted stays in the ground, and I'm taking something else out. I think that's what the Gemara is saying. It's rowdy. Omalei Abayo, Maishno Mikol Chite Usori Dalmo. Omalei Dover Shezari Kolo Loy Mebayli.
Yeah, but that is
The seeds decompose, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I have a complete stalk. I replanted it in the ground, and now do I need to take Meiser from this stalk that's visible? It didn't decompose. It's above ground even. I took out the whole. I took out the whole wheat. I took Meiser from it. Then I planted it as is, like a tree, like you plant a tree. What do you mean?
So it's in the ground.
The root, the bottom part is in the ground, but the top part isn't. I want to take Meiser from the whole thing. Says the Gemara, Tivshlei Maha. The Omer of Yitzchak, Omer of Yochanan, I have a raya from Yitzchak, Omer of Yochanan. Litra batzol, litra is a measurement of weight. I'm assuming it's nothing to do with our liter. Shetiknoi uzroi. So he took a Meiser from it, and then he planted the onion. The onion, the way you plant it, you put the whole onion in the ground, and more onions grow out of it. Misaser lefi kuloi. So you take Meiser, including the onion that you put in the ground. So what do you see? Now, an onion doesn't decompose. It's different. The whole onion is there. So you see, it has nothing to do with decomposing. Even not decomposing, you'd still have to take a Meiser on everything that you put into the ground. So over here, you'd have to redo the Meiser on everything. Says Gemara, Hasam Hainu Zriyasai. Hacha Lav Hainu Zriyasai. I still have a Shaila, Rava says. The Gemara says that Rava would have a Shaila because it's different. This is not the way to plant it. It's weird to take a whole stalk and put it in the ground. We plant seeds. A batzol, that's how you do it. So maybe you have to take Meiser on everything.
bottle stays small, the one you put in the ground?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. It grows, it gets larger, it splits.
It's just, yeah, gross shoots.
But the original one, when you take out that whole thing of the carrots or whatever it is,
So
the
because
original one is in there?
That's its derech. And Memela, you take meiser on everything that's the derech to be in the ground. You can't start saying, take meiser from 90%, not the 10% that was in the ground initially. You take meiser from everything. But wheat, over here, we have a special shayla. It's a weird case. We want to know what's the halacha by us in wheat, that it's not the derech to plant. Maybe you don't have to take meiser from the shoots. Omar lei. Because once it's the derech, it becomes bottle. That's you mevatel it, I believe. It becomes bottle to the ground. It's we don't consider what it was before. Over here, it's maybe you want the stalk still. It's not like you're letting go of them. It's not like you mafkir them like a bottle. Omar Reb Chanina bar Menachos la'Abaye. Nu halacha. Otzitz she'einu nokev ma'u. The famous otzitz. You have a pot that you grow a plant in. If the halacha is that it has to be yonik, it has to nourish from the ground. If your plant doesn't nourish from the ground, in other words, it doesn't have holes on the bottom, then it's not considered that you planted anything. It's not chai b'maiser midaraisa. So we're going to see different halachas.
Even if you're on an earth straw,
Yeah.
the ground came from earth straw.
It doesn't matter. It's not part of the ground. It's not part of the earth.
Hydroponics would be the same.
Right. Exactly.
No miser.
Correct. He's not here, but Moshe Chaim, the guy that made the eggs, he sometimes he watches. He has on his porch, he brought this huge thing. It's a really cool system. He has crazy amounts of vegetables there. He's growing tomatoes, lettuce, all on this one thing, and it circulates water, it goes on and off. It's an amazing system, whoever wants to see it. Huge things coming out, cabbages and every type of 30 different, at least 30 different types of vegetables growing out of this one device.
Taste the salad.
What about Eli?
No, they're all individuals.
So what?
No. They're little capsules. You put the one seed in, and it grows out. 1 foot above it is another one that grows out. They're coming out of different. Oh, you're worried about the branches intertwining? Why is that kalayim? The branches not? It's not just the roots.
It's supposed to be about 30 centimeters away. There are one on vegetables.
Stop this! Don't tell him. Oh, Malay Reb Chanina, but I knew it was too good to be true.
Don't eat the salad because you got the pizzas.
No salad at the sea.
I know, but he's worried about the branches intertwining. Fine.
Are the branches intertwining?
There's so many of them, of course. They fall over all over the place.
Mom's
It's
kalayim.
Oh, Malay Reb Chanina, but I knew that by you.
It's kalayim.
Otzis she'einu nokov ma'u.
The branches
Hold
are growing
on.
together.
Nothing. Let's go back. Rabbi say.
Oh boy. You see,
Says the Gemara, I know, it's good. Eloi nokov, holi nokov. What is the problem? If you have two of these pots that are the same type of pots, they both don't have holes on the bottom, so they're both not chayiv b'truma. So you could take truma from one and the other. They're both potter. They're both only midrabanan. The rabbanan can work on the rabbanan. That's not a problem. Because midrabanan you chayiv. So you take it. The rabbanan works on the rabbanan. Says the Gemara, Eloi nokov, holi nokov. Dilma, says the Gemara, Chazar v'nikvoi koi amris. So now, how much? 6? Hi, 6 guys. Shkoi. Still not the 12 that we had yesterday. Or when you guys made the scam and we had 20 on Motzei Shabbos. Fine. So what's going on? It says the Gemara, very interesting case. He started off the plant in a pot that didn't have holes. Yechayiv Rabbanon. Later on, he made holes in the pot. It grew. It grew more. Yechayiv Midaraisa. Now you have a plant that has a Rabbanon in it and a Deraisa in it. It's similar to the question that we asked.
It doesn't leave the Rabbanan and become Deraisa. Now it says holes in the ground. That's connected. It's not the Rabbanan anymore.
No, but the part that grew before was the Rabbanan. How are you going to make?
It becomes Deraisa.
Because it was mashed.
It's part of a Deraisa thing. You can't see an afkamino in the actual chayvitz. It's either the Rabbanan part of the Deraisa.
Because it was mashed.
Fine,
No,
but now
Truma.
It's part of a thing which is Deraisa.
Can I take Truma from the Deraisa and the Rabbanon? Do I need to retake Truma on the whole thing?
You see where it's a difference?
Says the Gemara. So basically, this is Rav's kasha. Do we go by the ikr, by the beginning of it, and the beginning of it was the Rabbanon and whatever grew afterwards, or no? Says the Gemara, this is not the same question. Hacha chodezri. You're talking about one plant, right? Moshe Chaim's plant. He put a seed in, it started growing. 3 weeks later, it connected somehow to the ground. It took time to connect to the ground, but it's one plant that eventually connected to the ground. So the whole plant, that's what you're asking. So this one plant became part of the ground. Hassam, by Rava's original question, first he planted it one time. He took it out of the ground, and now he replanted. It's a completely different planting. So don't bring me a raya from the Atzis Sheni Nakub. You have a pile of shiboilos, and you did miruach. What's miruach? You smooth it out with a kli called a rachas, something like that. That's why it's called miruach. Ushtala v'kara le Hashem b'mechuber. So now, what did he do? Very interesting. He had a pile of grain, and he smoothed it out, and he took, that's it. He took that grain, and he reintroduced it into the ground. Right. As soon as he did the miruach, he's chayv b'maiser. He puts it in the ground. He did miruach, and it's still attached to the stalk. Where are you saying this? Where did you come up with that?
No, it's chayv b'maiser. He did miruach akri. It's chayv b'maiser. He did miruach on the whole pile.
Yeah, but you can't do miruach if it's attached to the stalk.
He put the stalk within the pile of grain.
That's later on, I think you're talking about. He planted the seeds after they had a chiyuv in truma, b'maiser, and the shaila is, does the ground change the status of the truma? What's the question? Even the meracha tavlala. Once you do miruach, it's chayiv in truma, in maiser. Kikar ala Hashem kachala. So I made truma on something that is chayiv truma. Oidil mano kivin the shatla pakalei tivla mine. Maybe once you put it in the ground, the chiyuv of trumas and maisers flies out, flies away, and there's no chiyuv anymore. What are you telling me? That it might be, it's still chayiv, that the truma works, the truma catches on, even though it's in the ground. That can't be. As the Gemara truma. There's a Mishnah that says that a person is not chayav on truma while it's in the ground. What does that mean? Crazy story. You have truma in the ground, and somebody ate from it. If it's b'mezid, he's chayav misa b'dei shemayim. If it's b'shoigeg, he's chayav. He has to add another chaymish. On that, the Mishnah says it's impossible to do that while it's in the ground. Why?
It's not open advice.
No, nothing to do with that. If it's in the ground, so how did you eat it? How did it get to your mouth? So if you cut it and put it in your mouth, then it's cut. It's not part of the ground. But if you got down on all four and you bent down like a cow and you ate it out of the ground, look at Rashi. Says the Gemara, his das is batal. Says Rashi, the last line of the narrow lines. Says Rashi. It's not oichel. This is not considered eating. If it's not considered eating, if you eat like an animal, that's not considered eating. Even if you get all the benefits and enjoyment, it's not eating, halachically. And if it's halachically it's not eating, you're not chayiv misa and you're not chayiv chomish. So that's what the Gemara means. That's what the Mishnah means, that there's no truma. Not that the truma is not chal. Of course, if I planted, the truma might be able to be chal. What the Mishnah says, that there's no truma, meaning that if you bend down like an animal, then it's not chal. This is a wild story. It says, what?
This is a very little, by the way.
No.
How can you eat truma?
No. How could it be that you filled your stomach and you made an isser,
That also. We have a chiyuv. Truma b'mechubal karka.
We finished what saying.
You had the chiyuv and then you replanted it and you karla Hashem afterwards.
Why are they acting like pizza?
okay, anytime. What?
Why are they acting like pizza? Chilus arise outside. Chilus broke my advice. Why is the guy's not?
Because it was chai before.
Wow, before it was planted.
He did miruach,
Now we replanted it.
and then he replanted it. Already pnei abayis, the whole thing. Then he going to put it in the ground. Does the ground take away? So we want to say that it takes away because it says mafurish you can never be chayav on truma. The Gemara says that's a different halacha of acting like an animal. Now, as the Gemara, umayshno medachsiv what?
Oh, so we don't have an answer yet.
Yeah, we don't have an answer. Umayshno medachsiv apinkoso de ilfo. Ilfo had a little pad. He wrote down interesting halachas, I guess, that not to forget. And in one of the halachas it says, Beitzei nivlas ha'oiv atar. Now, we have to remember that a kosher bird that becomes an avela. Yeah, a chicken drops dead, and you touch it, it's not metama. The only way you become tummy from a bird is if you swallow it. It becomes tummy. Once you swallow it, it's in your beis abaliyah, then your clothes on you become tummy. Very interesting halacha. Now, what happens to the egg of a chicken that died? You ate the egg of a chicken. So if the egg is outside its body, then it's nothing to do with the chicken. But if you ate the egg while it's inside its body, then you become tummy. How crazy is this guy?
Ate it while it's inside?
Yeah, a meshugana guy.
Opened up the chicken.
Yeah, literally. No
spoon.
No spoon. Let me.
You stuck your face in.
Went like this.
Look at Rashi.
Stuck your mouth, head into his karaim.
Sell the eggs in Muncie, and then he tells you afterwards it was an available chicken. What's the problem?
No, but once it's out, it's done. That's
Once it's out, it's no good.
No, they harvested after they.
It doesn't matter. When it's out, it's not part of the chicken.
Oh, you're saying you ate it
The way it's part of the nevela is if it's inside the thing.
Is this egg flesh?
The Muncie har.
Is this egg flesh?
Kegoin im hichnis piv lemeyel v'ochlam b'fnim. You hear Rabbi say? Now, the guy that bends on all four and eats wheat that's edible off the ground, no, that's not an achila. He's a meshugana, he's a behema. A behema is not achila. This guy that opens up a chicken, and I just had the experience. I was in bed when they're doing kaparas in the heat. There's literally hundreds of dead chickens just lying there from the heat. I'm just imagining. This is an avela. The guy takes one of the guys that live in that neighborhood, goes like this, sticks his mouth in, and eats an egg with the klipa. This guy, that's an achila, and he's tummy.
Somebody said there's no
Yeah,
klipa when it's
with
inside.
the box.
When it's inside, there's no klipa.
There's 24 eggs inside every chicken. Well, there's 24 eggs in every
Take
chicken.
him to the.
Okay, but there's no klipa.
Every day, that's what the Gemara says. I'm not making this up. There's 24 stages of eggs. But there's always an egg that has a klipa. The last one has a klipa. So you're saying he ate eggs that don't have a klipa. Oh, fine. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, he ate one of the 24 that doesn't have a klipa. Okay. He's not that crazy. He didn't eat it with the shell. He only ate the one without the shell. Okay. As long as he's not banging that. He ate achila. He's standing up like I mentioned at a table. The whole thing. Okay, fine. Let's see it inside. Part of its eggs already came out. Part of it's inside. It's halfway in, halfway out. The ones inside are metama, the clothes when he swallows. Now, over here we don't say that says the Gemara a distinction. Talosh, what are you talking about? An egg that's not part of it. How do people eat? They eat something that's disconnected. So over here he's eating something that's disconnected. You're right, it's in a very strange manner, but it's disconnected nevertheless. But something that's connected, but when it's attached, nobody eats something that's attached. That's definitely not considered a maisa achila. That's the distinction. Now we're not talking about this particular act. This particular act might be a little crazy and not a derech, but it's still the way people eat. People eat attached, detached. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. No, I'm just hold on.
When it comes to
Taisus, there's just a very interesting Taisus here. Taisus says that Zui Hilchas Abelaitama, he talks about Rashi. Fine. Anyways, okay, we'll go weiter. Zog the Gemara. Omer Rav Daf Yomi bar Kisna. Omer Shmuel. Hazireya Kalayim Ba'otzah Sheni Nokov. Again, going back to this pot that doesn't have holes, and we said it's not considered part of the ground. So what if you plant Kalayim, two types of vegetables? Osur. It's not a deraisa, but it's osur. Amar Abayo Bishlomi Yashmin and Loikyo Makas Mardus Midrabanan Shaper. What is he coming to tell me? That he's chayiv makas, he's chayiv malkus, makas mardus. What does mardus mean? Mardus means mered. You don't listen to chachamim, so we have a special malkus for you. So if you tell me it's asur midrabanan and you get malkus, okay. Shapir. Eli asur, Michael Mashman, just to tell me a chiddush that kalayim is asur, even though midiraisa, we know atzitz nakov is not considered really planting, but that the chayiv midrabanan. It says that if you take truma from a pot that doesn't have holes, it's truma midrabanan. But midiraisa you have to do it again, meaning that otzitz nakov is derabanan. So just to tell me that you're chayiv b'klaim derabanan, that's a famous halacha. I don't need to tell me. But if you want to add to that halacha and say, not only is it derabanan, but if you plant klaim, you get malchus. Okay, fine, I'll accept that. Says the Mishnah. Hachitin. Oh, we have show and tell today. Just in case you don't know what chitim is. Huh?
You sent that message with the sheep on it.
You already chat. I was hesitant to send it, and guess what? Nobody replied. I was looking for shifoin. There's no shifoin. I don't know what shifoin is. But anyways, this is no. Yeah. Spelt. No. Shifoin is rye.
Right.
So this, you're in charge of this. Yeah, get rid of your coffee. This is wheat. You'll see in a second why I'm pulling it out here. Fine. Vasoirim. What's soirim? Rabbi Isai? Barley. We put this in the chunk. This is what barley looks like. Now, as we're going to see soon, barley and wheat are two different meaning. Fine. Barley. This goes over here. Ve'akusmin. What's kusmin? Spelled. What's spelled? Yeah, this is expensive stuff. Here.
You can do it today, too.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to refund. If anybody wants to buy it for half price after shiur, we'll discuss. Spelled. Now, take a look at this. They look very, very similar.
Yeah, the bags are the same.
No. The bag. This bag is the same, and this is not the. Doesn't like. This is barley. Ma'avdel. It's a different grain. But what's very interesting is, and it was kedai to buy this, that it said here, and I underlined it. Look what it says here. Chitas kusmin. It's wheat kusmin. It's in the family of chita. That's what the Gemara says, that this is so similar to this, and it's actually in the same family. But it's also in the family of barley, as we're going to see. Boom. Put that over here. Vashiboilis. Everybody knows what shiboilis is, right? Look at this, oatmeal. The problem is, what does this look like? This doesn't look like anything.
That's pressed.
Oh, so I helped you guys out. This is what it really looks like.
That size?
Not this size. No. This is just for the guys in the back. Yeah. So okay, fine. So now we have oats. Vashiboy l'shul, oats. Vashifoin, rye. There's no rye.
No pictures of it either.
Oh, yeah, there is. What do you think? This was cheaper than all of them. This is rye also, not to scale, but it looks very similar to the wheat. Rye, in New York, rye bread, no? Rye, everything's rye. So this is rye. These are the chameshes haminim. This is what we always talk about, chameshes haminim. This looks like barley? No, this looks like this. Like wheat. A little bit. or like actually like this kusmin. You look like kusmin.
It is like barley.
It's called split. It's called like a split.
has a split.
They all look the same.
They're also split. These are
Oh,
also
but these
split.
are white. They're all grains. They're all grains.
They're all the same family. They just don't trunk.
They're not the same family.
They're all this. No, that's all.
We're gonna see soon. Yeah, okay, fine.
They're all-
Zog the Gemara. It says the Mishnah.
What is Daram wheat?
What?
Daram wheat that they make.
Who?
Daram wheat.
What's the family?
If we said
I
they
don't
make noodles from and all that kind of stuff.
We're not done yet. We still have 2 more minutes. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. Harei elu chayovim b'chala. Believe it or not, if you make something out of this, you chayiv chala. If you make something out of shibboleth shual. Umitztarfim ze im ze. Now, the Pashat Pshat in the Mishnah, we're going to see in the Gemara it's not so Pashat, that all of them, if you make a dough, or you make some sort of mixture out of all 5 of these to get to the 1.25 kav that is mechayiv you b'chala, if I do a half a kav of this and a half a kav of this, I'm chayiv. Fine. V'asurim b'chodosh milafnei ha'omer. Now, this whole sugi, by the way, has crazy girsa. It's completely reversed. Because if you look at the mamish, doesn't make sense. V'asurim b'chodosh milafnei Pesach? No, chodosh has to do with the omer. So you have to take out the word Pesach and put in the word omer. And in the second, miliksor milafnei ha'omer, we have to take out the word omer and put in Pesach. It's reversed in the whole sugya. So what does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah says that the Isur Chodosh is also on oatmeal. So if you go into a restaurant in America, Chaim, I know you don't like this, it's a sveka, the sveka, but if you go to a restaurant and you know that this oatmeal was made and you ask him for breakfast a bowl of oatmeal, you have to make sure that it's not Chodosh. Chodosh applies to all 5 of them. And the Isur Miliktzor Milifnei Pesach. Remember, we had the Isur to take a sickle and cut the wheat. So you can't cut the barley. You can't cut anything before Pesach. How do you do it if you want to cut it? By hand. If it took root before the Oimer, Ha'oimer Matiron, all 5 of them, Bimlav, Asur Machiyavi Oimer Haba. I don't know if you remember, but we did have this Mishnah, this line we had yesterday, the day before, in the Gemara. Gemara brought it down as a raya. Fine. That what? That the Oimer is matter from Hashrosha. Says the Gemara, Tana, Kusmin spelt. Where's our spelt? Kusmin. This guy is Min Chitim. These are the same family. Ememela, what? These are mitzdarif with each other. Oh, so the Gemara is explaining. It's not so qualifying. That's exactly the word I wanted to use. Thanks. So these 2 guys, this rye and the oats are part of barley. These 3 go together. Now, this also, by the way, the Gemara doesn't say, but Rashi brings out, thank you, is also part of this family. So this is a swing man. Very good. These 4 go together. Chita only goes the kusman. And the point is that it says here, mefurish on the bag, chitas kusman. So this goes together with this. Now, please be sorry. Flip the page just for a second. There's a very important Tosfos here, and whoever did the daf before, just for this Tosfos is worth it if you didn't know this. You go down like 15 lines, it says Pirush. In Mamish, it's a very important piece for the sugya. You have it, Pirush, Kishaminim Belulim Yofa. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 lines down by me in Tosfos. Pirush, Kishaminim Belulim Yofa, Voisim Mehem Iso Achas. Kula mitzdarfim, says Tosfos. All 5 minim. If you were to make a dough out of the minim, it doesn't matter what minim, if it's a beautiful, nice dough, then they're all mitzdarif. What is the Gemara qualifying? Not that he made a dough, that he made 2 separate doughs. He made a sheboy l'shual dough and he made a chita dough, and they're touching each other. They're touching the noishkin zeh. That's the pshat in the sugi. It's a whole different understanding. This place is extremely important. That's what the Gemara meant, that the mitzdarif only when it's 2 separate doughs. But if it's a complete one dough, you can't differentiate, then all the minimum mitzdarif, says the Gemara. Kusmin, now we can turn the page for real. Kusmin gulba. Now everybody look in Rashi. First Rashi, Gulba. What does Rashi say? What? Spelt. Look at Rashi. Spelt. So Gulba is actually spelt what we call today spelt.
You should ask people for Gulba.
Shifoin Bishro Shiboy Shuol Shiboy Talo. Says the Gemara, Hani in. But these two guys not. Oirez. We all know what oirez is, rice. But this I didn't know what it was. A lot of people know. I didn't know. What's doichan? Rabbi say? You know what doichan looks like? Very good. Millets. What does millets look like? These guys. This is millet. Okay, so now we know what doichan is.
It's the least popular from the rice family.
So in other words, when it comes to oirez, when it comes to doichan, there's no chodosh, there's no challah. These halachas don't apply, and they're not mitzdaref. Minan immediately that it's only these 5 minim and not everything else. We learn challah from matzah. Ksiv hachal by challah it says v'oya b'acholchem lechem oretz. It says lechem. Uksiv hasam lechem oini, the famous lechem oini of matzah. And over there, Hosam Gufam Menolan, and how do I know that's only the 5 minim? Omar Ishlokish, V'chein Tonah Debrei B'Shmol, V'chein Tonah Debrei Rebbe Elazar ben Yaakov, Omar Krol, Yisoy Chalolav Chomet Shivas Yom Techolav Matzos. Lechem Oini. Dvarim Aborim Lechimot, Oyadom Yitzim B'Mdichavos B'Pesach. Matzah has to be something that could become Chomet. It's not just the halacha, don't make it Chomet. It means it has to have the Kolaroyu, the Bilo, and Bilo Makeves, but it has to be Roi for Chomet. And this guy right over here, and doichan, wherever it went, oh, they're looking at doichan. That's fine. Pass it down. Cannot become chometz. Zog the Gemara. Umitztarfim zemze. Tana. We have halacha. Hatvua v'akmochem v'abetzeikos. You have from wheat. You have 3 things. You have the kernel. Then you have flour, and then you have the dough. So those 3 things are actually in the pasuk. It says lechem, koli, carmel. It's all 3 of those things. So says the Gemara, they're mitztarev. So what does that mean? So we have a few pshat on what it means that they're mitztarev. For what? It's not. It seems to me, at least, unless you know differently, that they're not really mechulek on each other. They might be coming to add on each other. That what? Omer Rav Kahana le'inyan chodosh. Okay, yeah. Where's the chiddush? Maybe that's maybe what the Gemara means. Where's the chiddush here? L'may hilchas Omer Rav Kahana le'inyan chodosh. Rav Yosef Omer le'inyan chometz bepesach. That even the kernel is considered chometz if it's wet. Rashi says. Rav Papa Omar le'inyan meiser sheni. So meiser sheni, I don't want to make that mistake again. What? That's what it says. If it becomes wet. Yeah. So meiser sheni is a interesting meiser. It's a meiser you take on the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th years, and really the owner owns this meiser. But the only qualification, I'll use the word again. The only qualification for meiser sheni is that you have to eat it in Yerushalayim, or you have to be paid it and bring the money and eat. Akol panim, if you eat it outside of Yerushalayim, then you're chayev. So l'gavi ma'aser sheni, those 3 things are mitzvah. If you could take wheat, a kazayis of wheat, that's based on partial flour, kernels, dough, and you have a kazayis combined of all 3, then you're chayev. Why? Because if you ate outside of your shleim, let's say just kernels, you're chayiv. If you ate just the dough, you're chayiv. If you ate flour, you're chayiv. So if you combine all 3, you're chayiv 1. If you ate 3 of them individually, you'd be chayiv 3 lavim. So they're all mitzvah. Rav Omar le'inyan tumas oichlin. Tumas, the shear is different. The shear for tuma is kibetza. The mitzvah for tuma v'okam ashmalan. The tvua ukmochem dumya de betzeikos. Mahosam uchle be'ene. Just like dough, you have pure food. There's no extra anything on it. So too, when it comes to The kernels, it has to be pure. It can't have the husk. It can't have any peels to it. Peels are a problem. Rashi says here. Well, we'll go on. They don't count. You can't count for the shear. Peels don't count. You have to have pure food to count for this shear. V'atanya, and I'll prove it to you. Chita ben klufa ben she'ena klufa mitzdarefes. Over here, when it comes to wheat, the peel is mitzdaref. Why is the peel mitzdaref? Because it's considered food. It's edible.
Of course, that's why I have whole wheat today.
Oh, very good. Yeah, okay, whole wheat. So oira.
It's important to have measuring how much flour you need for in wholemeal bread. It means
It's not. But that's not a problem. Why is it a problem? With the peel is also good.
because the way they do it nowadays is they take out the husk,
Mm-hmm.
they take out, and then they add in a certain percentage to make a wholemeal back again. So if they add it back in, then according to this, it's not counted. So you need a larger.
Why is it not counted if you add it back in?
Because it's not edible. It's not part of the thing.
Why is it not edible? I thought it is edible.
If you make the whole
Okay, fine. Chito ben klu. Okay. Chito ben klufa ben she'ena klufa mitzdarefes. Soira klufa mitzdarefes. She'ena klufa ein mitzdarefes. So what's the pashta meaning, Rabbi Isai, that barley that's not peeled is not mitzdaref? That the peel is not part of the shear. Rashi adds on an unbelievable thing. Rashi says, "She'ena klufa ein mitzdarefes im shar ochlin shkil beitza." V'afilu oichel shebetoicha. Rashi says, even the barley, there's a chatzitza. There's a chatzitza between barley to barley to barley. Each one has a wall separating it. The peel is a wall and not mitzdaref, says Rashi.
So you grinded it up.
We're talking about the kernels as is. Unbelievable Rashi. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Ini vatana de Rabbi Shmuel. It says, "Benegeh to tuma al kol zera zerua sheizarea." Any seed that you'll plant is mekabel tuma. Kederach shebnei adam moitzim lezriya chida beklipasa usa oira beklipasa. It says mefurish that the barley with its peel, mekabel tuma, it's considered food. And what's the reason? Because the peel, says Rashi, is a shomer. Anything that protects the food is like the food itself, and memela it becomes tomei. V'adoshim b'klipasim and lentils. Says the Gemara, like kashio, there's different types of protectors. Habelachos, if the peel is still soft and moist, so then it actually protects the fruit. It protects the barley. But if it's withering off, it's so dry, you could break it, then it doesn't serve a protection to the barley, and memela it's not part of the barley. V'asurim b'chodosh milifnei ha'omer, you have to be goyers here. And it's also before the omer. Minani mili, how do you know it's only regarding the 5 minim? Omer rish lakish asil lechem lechem in matzah. So just like matzah is the 5 minim, over here by chodesh is 5 minim. V'liktzor lefnei ha'pesach. You cannot cut or harvest the 5 minim before Pesach. Minani mili omer Rabbi Yochanan asil reishis mechala. It says, where do we get this halacha of you can't cut? Why can't you cut? What's the point? Because it says in Torah, reishis kitzirchem. The omer comes from the first cut, meaning there's nothing else cut before that. It has to be the first cut. It's also for you to cut before. That's why, by the way, if you don't cut it, you pluck it out with your hand, you're okay. But so Memela, I learned reishis from Chala. By Chala also says reishis, and it means the 5 minim. What does it mean? Koidim lo omer, Rabbi Yoina Omar, koidim k'tziras omer, Rabbi Yossi bar Zavda Omar, koidim havoas omer. So it's very interesting. This is like we had the machlokes before. Rabbi Yochanan and Shlakish both agree that it's before the k'tzira of the omer, meaning Rashi says Heir Mizrach, when the sun pops out. That's koidim k'tziras omer, and Havas omer is the other sheet, the Rav and Shmuel, who said that you can't eat until you actually bring the omer. It's not the daylight; it's the actual omer. Tnan asurin b'chodosh lefnei ha'omer. V'liktzar lefnei Pesach. It's also chodesh before the omer, and you're not allowed to cut before Pesach. Bishloim l'man the omer koidim. So there's 2 shiurim. There's before the omer and the Ktsir is before Pesach, it's 2 different days, right? Before Pesach means the 16th. Or when do you cut? The 16th night. When do you bring it? The 17th. So it's 2 different dates. You're talking about being makriv. When are you makriv on the 17th? That's a different day. So maybe it's 2 different days. That's why the Mishnah doesn't mention it as one date. So this is a very interesting shiloh. If you're talking about cutting the omer, when do you cut the omer? The night at night. And then the Gemara understands that Heir Mizrach, 12 hours later, is the same time, for whatever reason. Maybe because you could also cut it throughout the night, all the way to Heir Mizrach, so it's actually the same time. The Mishnah should have mentioned it as one date, according to this man Omer. Elo, you're right. Elo Itmar, Sefer Itmar, Imeshrishu, it's a different halach. Everybody agrees that when can you eat? When you bring the omer on the mizbeach. Nothing to do with Heir Mizrach. What's the machlokes? It's talking about when is it considered that it took root. If it took root before the omer is matter. It has to take root before you bring, because what's the matter? The carbon on the mizbeach. Nothing to do with when you cut, when you harvest it. No, harvesting is part of bringing it on the mizbeach. So Memela, the cutoff line is when you cut it. Have a great Shabbos. Shira Motzei Shabbos is 9:15 until we change the clock. Yeah.
Americans don't know this.